Hi there, my name is Valerie Peterman, and I am the Senior Project Manager for Art in Public Places. And I am here to help you walk through the application process to our 2025 Public Artist roster. The application is on the Submittable platform, and I'm going to walk you through a few steps, like how to access Submittable from our webpage, and what to expect and what materials to gather for your application process. And then I'm going to do a brief walkthrough of the application itself. So beginning on our website, arts.wa.gov, you're going to see a big link right here. This is being pre-recorded, so the link isn't live yet. But right here at the top of this landing page is where we put our current opportunities. So you should see a big button that says apply to the public artist roster. But another way to get there is to go to the Public Art tab up here at the top and click Public Artist Roster here. This will give you a brief overview of what the roster is. It's great to review this and how we use it. And it also is a great resource for artists that have a project as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more about our program, this is a great resource. And then you can click on the how to get on the public artist roster page here. And this will take you to our guidelines for the 2025 roster cycle. This cycle will run from 2025 until 2029. An important note, if you are currently on the roster, you will need to reapply for this new roster cycle. And if it is your first time applying to the roster, you will need to make an account with Submittable if you don't already have one, but it's fairly simple to set that up. So when you get to this page after May 6th, which is when the applications go live, there will be a big prominent button that says apply now that will take you directly to Submittable. But again, because this is pre-recorded, we don't have that live quite yet. But before you jump straight into the application, we encourage you to please read the guidelines. You can either read them here, all of the information about this roster cycle is included on this webpage. These all accordion down with information. But you can also, if you prefer to have something written in front of you, printed in front of you, we have a PDF version that you can download here that has that same information just in an easily printable format. And then we also have a couple of other resources. We have some portfolio tips to make your images really strong. And we have a Word worksheet that will be a great opportunity for you to use this to gather your written materials and to check word count, to spell check, to do some of the things that maybe you don't want to do in the Submittable platform itself. It's taking a second to load. But it is an excellent resource to allow you to put all your ducks in a row and to have everything ready to cut and paste when you're ready to apply, which includes we ask for a statement about your work and a brief biography. I'll touch on this a little bit later, but we do have an audio accessible option for your statement and your bio. And I'll show that in the Submittable platform. So when you're ready to apply, again, there will be a big button, but the application has 4 main sections, and we'll get into that in just a second. So when you get to Submittable, our Submittable page is artswa-publicart.submittable.com, and you'll see after May 6th, a button to apply to the roster. This is obviously a test, but the first thing that you're going to see when you start your process to apply is it will ask you to affirm your eligibility. And this is on our system. You need to note that you reside in the United States or in British Columbia and that you are at least 18 years old before it will take you to the application itself. Once you hit next, it will take you to the main application. And I will note that this is a really robust platform that auto saves every 30 seconds, if not sooner than that. So please don't feel like you have to do this all in a single sitting. You can take your time, you can come back to it, you can really review and take as long as you need to put your materials together. The deadline is June 17th. So this is our main tool for selecting artists for projects. So do be really considered in what you complete. So the main sections of the application start with basic contact information. I'll say a couple of notes about this. That is that if you select artist team, it will ask you whether your artist team is comprised of equally collaborating members or lead artists with collaborators. Depending on what you choose, you'll have an opportunity to share member details, first name, last name for each of those members. So that's one thing to note, that those are responsive to the answers that you give. If you're an individual artist, one thing to note is that if you are selecting BC, Canada, you will be required to fill in an additional form that will ask you whether you're able to fulfill the necessary paperwork and legal requirements that are required to work in the state of Washington, which includes acquiring an ITIN. So there will be a little bit more information that you need to provide if you are based in BC. So after the basic contact information section, this is where part 2 is where you're going to talk about your artistic practice. This is where we're going to ask you to provide tell us about yourself, a brief biography, and a statement about your work and your practice. As I mentioned, we have 2 options. The written option, you'll just copy and paste written statements. There is a 250-word limit on both of the bio and the artist statement. And if you choose to do an audio option, you will upload an audio file. We accept M4A, MP3, and WAV files for the audio option. In part 3, this is where you're going to designate and choose some of your preferences for the projects that you want to be considered for. All of the work that we do with the Art in Public Places program is site responsive, but we do have a couple special projects. Architecturally integrated projects mean that you're going to work more closely with the architects and the design team for the building to integrate the artwork into some architectural element, such as flooring or glazing or lighting. Community engaged commissions are social practice projects where you're going to spend longer with the community and have that engagement, such as workshops or other kinds of activities, inform your design process. So if you would like to be considered for those special commission types, go ahead and click which ones you're interested in there. And then you're going to be asked to select whether you want to be considered for inside projects, outside projects, or both. And you will not be able to designate the budget categories that you are interested in until you select that. So once you hit inside, it's going to ask you, okay, so if you're interested in doing interior projects, keeping in mind that budgets cover everything from the initial design to installation and all associated expenses, what budget range are you comfortable working in? And then if you select outside as well, it will pop down the outdoor project budget categories as well. Part 4 is where you will enter your demographic information, and we'll emphasize that this portion is totally optional. You can enter as much or as little information as you like. This portion's not used by panelists to review the application, and it's also not used by any of our communities to make decisions about the artists for this project. This information is really just for us to track the diversity of our roster and the impact of equity and inclusivity measures that we've done with our public art opportunities. But do please note that this information could be disclosed in a public records request. And then part 5 is where you will enter your portfolio images. I will note that we only accept JPEGs or PNGs this cycle. We made a change from the last cycle, and that was because GIFs, TIFFs, and long horizontal images all took a really long time to load and were really blurry. So this is really to optimize the community experience when they're reviewing all of the images in your portfolio. So please do make sure that that you pre-format your images so that you're not getting frustrated when it's time to upload. The other thing to keep in mind is that image 1 is your thumbnail, so make it eye-catching. We recommend that you keep this first image in a slightly horizontal format, like a 4:5 horizontal aspect ratio is probably a good thing to aim for, because that will really allow your portfolio to appear the strongest in that thumbnail. Make sure your images in general are shot with good lighting, focus on the details, pick images that represent your talent and your practice practice best. And then as soon as you choose an image, so here I'm going to do one quickly right here. I have my test images here. Don't come at me for copyright for using Pusheen. As soon as you upload an image, it will populate it'll pop up all of the image description fields that we ask you to complete for each of your portfolio images. And you can paste URLs into these image description fields and they'll create live links for the gallery view should you want to provide further information. Like if you have a video or you want to link it to your website or to a longer artist statement, you can do those things in these image description fields. Just make sure that you save your work, take your time, make edits, and grab a cup of coffee when you're doing this process because it can sometimes take a while, but have fun. And when you're ready, once you've uploaded all 8 of these images, you can click to the terms of use and apply now. And when you apply now, it will then be visible to ArtSwap. So one thing to note is that we will not have any access to your application while it is a draft. So if you're experiencing any technical issues, then you need to contact the Submittable Help Center. If you have any questions for us, please reach out to our program coordinator, Michelle Lavitia. She's michelle.avitia@arts.wa.gov. And we wish you luck. Thank you.